everybody. So, problem we got right here is this little piece of the plow bracket alignment thing is broken off, obviously. It's missing. So, that's where it is. So what happens is, when you put this on the truck, you got little ramps in the push mounts there. So this goes in up to that ramp and it kind of shoves up on there, and then you push back on the headgear, and then it pries against that as like a lever and kind of lifts this up to put this pin in, and then that goes through the hole that's in the front of the push plate there. So what we have is when we're pushing back, it continues to kind of push the headgear back, especially like when you're pushing up and getting the snow, piling it up. It'll push the headgear back, and it will cause these to bend up, and it'll start to kind of bend them up, and then it will eventually break them off. So this side over here, I believe, is working on a crack too. I think there's a crack there or somewhere around here, but it ain't far behind. So I mean, basically it's really just this little piece right here that is broken. So I'm gonna try to refabricate that piece, and I'm gonna see if I can cut this out and weld a new one in. This happened before on another plow, same thing, and you could try to weld something in there, but it's more than likely just gonna break off. So I wanna say that this whole assembly here is, I think it's like $1,300 to $1,600. I'm not exactly sure. It might be like $9. I don't know. Either way, it's kind of pricey. So if I could just replace them, then that'll be pretty good. Save some money. Another problem we have is this bracket right here that holds the pin. You might not be able to see in the picture, but you can see it's bent down. So basically this goes through and it makes like a double shear type of setup where it sits in the pin, but I think as the plows turn like this and we're pushing back the side of the road, it puts a lot of pressure on that side, and it actually kind of pulls this side away. So I think what it's doing is it's popping out, and then as it's trying to pull it away, it's kind of bending it back because it's really holding it onto the front. It's not like so much of a pushing into the truck, it's more of a pulling away. But that's just some pretty thin stuff. I think it's just like 1/8 material. So what I might do is weld a gusset or a brace from here to the plow frame there to kind of keep that from bending down. And we'll see if that works. I did that on another plow that we have that's doing the same thing. And I haven't looked at it yet, but I don't think there's many problems. We're kind of at the end of winter, so now that these things are kind of taking a beating, I figured I'd see what I can do. So yeah, so I took a bunch of measurements and I made a template of this little bracket here. So I'm gonna go cut them out and see if we can weld that in. I'm gonna have to take this off so I can get in there, but I think it's doable. So I'll show you the other one we have here. This is the one that did it before, and I replaced this whole I don't know, push frame, whatever you want to call it. So this side's pretty good. But doesn't look like it's bending yet, so I think this one was, I think I replaced this last year. I don't think I did this year. But this one got a little bit of attention. So I usually just put a pin in there. The other one just has a pin, but what'll happen is when you're stacking the snow and you're kind of pushing it up into the bank, it'll pull on the bottom of that, and it'll actually break that weld off, and it will bend that way down, and it'll also bend that pin in, because now you got like a big gap in there. So what I did was I think that's 1.25 inch bolt. I just bought a 7-inch bolt and a locking nut, and I put that on there. That'll keep that from spreading, and it will hold it together, and it'll make a nice pivot. The reason I did that was primarily because right here, this section of the plow will actually contact the piston here, and it wore a hole through it. So it's got new pistons on it as well. You can see right here, this is an old A-frame because this one was in better condition than the one I took off this. I'll show you that one. So what I had to do is I actually had to cut this hook that hooks under there because the one that was on here was bent way down because it was this A-frame was on our backhoe, and it took a little bit of abuse. So that actually took a lot of effort to cut that bracket off. It kind of goes down and goes up onto the other side, but I ended up getting it. So this is the old one. You can see what I'm talking about, how it bends it out like that and it just breaks that off. I was gonna try to weld a piece of thicker steel in here, like right in there, but it actually takes up the space and it doesn't really want to fit. So I kind of scrapped that idea and I just went with a bolt. I think the bolt will actually do a lot better than that. But you can see where I had to cut that off, this one. That one was in good condition. It was just this end here. And I mean, I probably could have bent that back up, but like I said, we had the other one, so I just used the other one. Probably would have been easy to bend that back up. Here's what I'm working on. You can kind of see there. Oh, that shows up pretty good, huh? You can see the little pieces I got kind of scribed in there. I'll cut those out. That is the template that I made. That should be exactly what's there. That's 4 inches, and I think that's like 7. So, I believe that is not actually 1/2 inch that's on the plow. I don't know if this is 1/2 inch. It's pretty close. If it's not, it's just under. It would be the right size if it's not. But yeah, so I used that to get me a straight line, and now I'm gonna kind of leave it there. You can't see the blade on this when you're cutting because it's all covered by the shield, so I don't want to go outside the template. So I'm going to use an angle grinder to finish cutting out the rest, and then I'll have my pieces. All right, so I got this basically cut out. I'm going to take it to the bandsaw thing, and I'm going to finish cutting that out so I can get the corners low and I don't kind of cut into the corners. I still got to take a little notch out of here, a little notch out of there, because that is on the piece that's on there. I mean, you probably don't have to. You could probably maybe make it work, but I'm just gonna, once I cut the other one out, I'll see if it fits. If not, I'll cut that notch out. So, all right, so I got these 2 cut out. I think they go that. That's how they'll go on there. So like I say, I'll see if I gotta notch that out or not on these edges here. It's possible I do. We'll find out. But I gotta get that headgear over here and take it apart. All right, so I got the plasma cutter here all set up. I'm just gonna try to, I got a gouging tip on there. I'm just going to try to gouge and remove the welds that are in there all around that plate. We'll see how that comes out. I'm going to obviously direct into the plate I'm replacing more than into the bracketry or any of the stuff that's staying. So I want to use that more as like a sacrificial section. So I'm going to go into that more to try to get the weld out than to kind of go into the weld. We'll see how that goes. So what I did was, as you can see, I washed along there, and you can see like a little crack right there where the 2 pieces of metal actually are separated. That's kind of what you want to see. So you just kind of cut in there until you see them start to separate with that little crack there. I don't know if you can see it on this camera. It doesn't do up close very well, but it's there. So like I said, I'm gonna do that try to do that all the way around and leave as much remaining that was there, that so I'm not kind of removing any of the plate that's staying. Alright, so I went around here and got most of it out. I don't think I can get this out in one piece because I can't get the grinder inside this corner here. So I cut it off right there. I'm just gonna hit that with a hammer, break this piece off, and then I only have that little bit, and I could probably wash it away with the plasma cutter. I just can't get it in there with the shape of it. So let's see if this comes off. I think it will. I went under here and I got that with an angle grinder because it's a little more precise. You can kind of come in there like a knife and put your groove in, and then I'll just clean up the weld after. So there's that. So I'll clean this up with probably the grinder. And then I just got to get that little bit out of there, and then I could probably knock this right out. So I'm gonna take the grinder and clean this all up, and then we'll stick our other piece in. That's our guy right there. Say I might still need some trimming. Probably need some trimming. Got a little bit bigger. This is the same size plate, by the way. I think it was like 0.4 inches, so it's a little under half an inch, something like that, 3/8 or something. But so clean this up so I can get that in there, and it should be good. I might have to kind of make that a little bit more rounded to go around that corner, but we'll see. All right, so I got that all out, cleaned up. Well, that's ground down as best I can get it. That's what I got. This is the end result of what the plate looks like. So I did have to trim that down a little bit. Fits right in. So I'm going to tack this in place, and then I'm going to cut this other side out. This one I did a little bit more angle grinding. Angle grinder worked alright. Just getting in there. And in there was the hard part. I did that with the plasma torch. Now I'll just clean that up. Weld this side on. So, here's some of them welds. They don't look too bad. It's definitely on there. So I gotta flip it up. I gotta get there, underneath this, and same thing over there, and then those two. Alright, so I got the headgear all back on. I don't know what happened. I must have hit record when I should hit stop, or somehow I got out of time, but anyway, someone looks a little bit crooked, but I think it'll be fine. I got them in there. I got this brace kind of welded on there, so I think that'll keep that from bending down again. Just straighter. So I got ready to put it on the truck. I don't have the truck here, so I think it'll be all right. If there's any problems, I'll let you know. So anyway, hope that could help somebody. Thanks for watching.